you will have problems if you don't get a professional idea of it. Don't be too quick, be long-lasting. That's like the world before DiGA, and now there's no room for innovation anymore. I think that was fast and we didn't expect that. That's not true. It is secure, it is good, and people are working hard on it to make things secure.
Hello everyone, this is our new episode of Digital Health Interviews. I'm happy to introduce our today's guest. His name is Sebastian Vorberg. Hi Sebastian.
Hi.
So let's start with a short intro. Please tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm not sure if I can make it short, but actually I'm a lawyer. That's the bad part because I love all the stuff around the lawyers. That's like taking care of the digital health startups and whatever developments and projects that's coming up. I'm a lawyer for 22 years now, and I'm doing all the digital part for 12 years now. And I'm the founder of, the Bundesverband Internet Medicine. That's like the association for people coming together in internet or digital health. And I'm the founder and CEO of the Institute of Quality and Regulation for Digital Health, where we do all the regulation part and the evaluation part. So from the idea back to and to the market, we can nearly provide everything you need in this branch.
Cool. What other services do you provide to your clients?
So we have the law part, we have the data security part, we have the regulation part, we have the connecting part with the association, and we have the evaluation part. So everything that comes up, questions there, or even the processes in there, or all the documentation, or the questions, or the contracts, and even the strategy, we can provide all services.
As you said, the main clients are startups, right? At any stage.
Yeah, because that's the ones who needs everything from the beginning to the end, and that's pretty good. And then if we have a trustful coming together, it's a pretty good thing. Yeah.
You've mentioned data protection and information security. I assume this is like from the legal perspective, not from the software perspective. Like you don't do the audit of the software, right?
That depends. Actually, we have an ISO or whatever. We have an auditor. We're not the auditors, but we provide everything like security systems and all the stuff, all the documentation we need for the software as well. So we have all the processes done and all the security and all that stuff together. And then we have especially legal parts if there's something tricky.
There are lots of news about different data leaks in the United States. Lots of companies are being sued. Have you heard of lots of cases in Germany when the data or PHI of the patients was leaked? Yes,
you hear that time and time again. There's some leaks, there's some weak stuff and data's coming out or hackers coming in or usually it is hackers. It's nothing coming out that, my data is there. It's always something very on purpose. You find some problems. My personal opinion on that is it's not too bad to find them, because if we find problems and we find all the open things that shouldn't be open, we can close them. And that's what's happening. So we find some problems and then we solve them, and then we have a safer work afterwards. So, but in Germany we have a pretty strong opinion to put the finger into these wounds and then make a lot of noise. And so everyone thinks, this is not secure, this is not secure, and that's not true. It is secure, it is good, and people are working hard on it to make things secure, but there are problems, and you cannot solve everything in the first go, so you probably get someone to pick in it, and then you save it and make it better, and that's what I think is a culture that you should live. You should live data leaks.
Would hackers try to blackmail the owners?
No.
Really?
What is happening, I think we have a pretty good press there after it, and you can always put, if you're a hacker, you can always put the press and you have a good press. But sometimes they give you a chance, or usually they give you a chance to get it done before the press gets it. And then I think it's a pretty fair treatment hackers do right now, and they're not going out to blackmail you, they're going out to show the problem. And that's what we have in Germany.
Since we started talking about being sued, you've probably heard this news that Moderna is trying to sue Pfizer and BioNTech for apparently taken some of the part of their research when developing the vaccine. And BioNTech, I think it's a German company, right?
Yes, it is.
What do you think is going to happen in this case?
And this is kind of a very deep dive into the problems of how data come from A to B. This could be like workers coming from taking something. Actually, they shouldn't do it. I think it's good that we have all the research at the place where we need it. But still, I can understand if you have a big interest, money interest in things, that it's not good if someone just takes your data. But actually, I'm not that deep into it, so I can make a decision if this is good or bad. Probably there's something not very good. Something is bad there. So perhaps it's a good reason to have to sue them and to stop that this will not happen again. But still, I think we all had a good research background in all this, and we could be pretty happy that things worked out that fine.
True. Let's get back to startups. In lots of startups, companies around the world, there is a common practice when startup founders provide stock options to the employees of a startup in order to motivate them to work even better. Is this a common practice in Germany?
Yes, it is. And it's always good. I think it's always good to have many people working on their own baby, So yes, we have that. There are different ways to do it. If you get too deep into it and have too many people getting together and having something to say, you can get into trouble. So you should have a difference between someone who's investing and someone who's working. So you have to make a different contract for them. But still, there could always be a good interest in earning money later on if things get pretty good. It's always good.
Do you think German employees are actually looking when they're selecting a company to work for, if there is such an option?
Yes. Yeah, I think if you're getting into the startup business, you always have the idea that something is working out and you'll be fine off. You're not just working for the next 100 euros. You work for the future. You always do somehow. If you come later, if they always have 100, 200 people, okay, probably not. But for the first people, it would be always a good interest to be in the part when it works out, and to get off if not, and then saying, do something else to earn money.
Okay, let's get to DiGA. I guess the very important thing right now in Germany happening. First question: did you expect the whole process is going to be so fast, like from the initiative when you just started talking about it, from the final approval? Because it was pretty fast.
Yeah, that's funny. Yes, I think that was fast, and we didn't expect that, and that was a pretty good offensive to get there. Mm-hmm. But now we're stuck. So we're not that fast anymore, and we have many problems. And that's what I predicted pretty early. If you come up in Germany with such a fast track, people wake up and say, no, that's too fast, and that's what happens right now. So it's not, you cannot tell if this being fast is really comes to a good end. It comes to a good start. And now we're working hard to get the process done, so we bring it to something that is reliable and for the future. And that's where we have to hard work. We have a hard work, and now processes are very slow. So we're into it fast. Now we're into a slow connecting part, and hopefully we get in a fast ending where we can. Now we know how it works. But yes, the beginning was fast.
Consulting startups about getting DiGA approval is one of your services. Can you briefly describe what is the process of getting that approval?
Yes, actually, if you have a good idea, you need something that is medical, so it doesn't come with lifestyle or something, and it needs to be for the patient. That's the most important part. And if you have that, you need to be a medical device. And then there you have the purpose of a medical device is good. And if you get this purpose done there's a catalog of things you have to do in the medical part, like how you can make an effort in medicine and in specific indications. And if you have this effort, you have to provide all the data security, you have to provide all the list of things that is coming up with the DiGA. That's a long list, but it's just checking it down and making it, and then if you are there, you need the evaluation part, and that's the hardest part. Mm-hmm. So you need to evaluate this effect. We call it like medical effect. We want to prove, and this is a hard part that should take your time. It takes time, and you should take your money. We have to a big study and bring all down. And then if you plan that pretty good, and you come up with a good evaluation and all the other check boxes done, I think you have a very good chance to get into this DiGA list.
How much time would it, in average, would take to get the approval?
At least, I mean, it depends how you start. If you start with a medical device already, it's pretty easy. You can be in the market. I think in a time of a year, then you have this fast track. Perhaps you have to make the study and get a long-term listing later. But a year would be fine. If you don't have a medical device already, it would take you at least 1.5 to 2 years to get there.
And if I understand correctly, it can be not only just medical device, it just can be, for example, mobile application, right?
Yes. No, that's actually one of the main focus. Software is the main focus, and it could be applications, yes.
The companies that did not get the approval, can they still operate on the market and make money?
That's like the world before DiGA. They could make money, but the business models were hard because who's paying for it? Is it a private paying? Yes, there are some services out there that get private paying from patients or even from business kind of models, whatever. But if you want to be in the reimbursement part, this is the best way to do it. We have some other openings for prevention. Prevention medicine is pretty good. You can earn some money on that part with a totally different approach. Sometimes you can have selective contracts with the health insurance companies, but people are sometimes very optimistic. Yes, I'll get a good contract with the insurance company. That's a very hard way, and I don't see many coming out there with a smile, So I think the best way is the DiGA. We have the DPA for home care and healthcare there, and that I think that's another good option to earn some money.
So if a startup was created and its goal was to get the DiGA approval, and for some reason they don't, there's a big chance they're going to close the startup after that?
Yeah, because if you go that way, that's the best thing to do to have a good business plan, And then you come up and why should you have problems there? Because perhaps you don't have the medical effect you want to show, and perhaps in that point you made a mistake because you probably have the wrong idea of what your product can do. It's like if you have a pharmaceutical company and this pill doesn't have an effect, you're not going to sell it. So probably that's the reason why. So you need to have a good effect and prove that. And sometimes perhaps you do it first before you go to market, or you must be pretty sure that you're going to win that effect.
And I think startup founders should keep in mind like everything they need to get the approval from the day one, right?
Right. Actually, we come from the back and say, what do you want to prove? What is the effect you're going to make? What do we have to do to get there? How sure are you? Do we have to do some pre-trials or something that we can find out if this is really the right way? Because you're investing quite a lot.
Also want to talk about the telemedicine. I think in Germany it was approved only in 2018. And how would you evaluate the market right now in Germany?
That's very interesting because yes, and it was like forbidden for a while, and that was where I as a lawyer was going against it. We said, no, this cannot be possible that we don't do this. Now it's coming up, and the physicians were complaining. It's hard, and we don't know why, and we don't know how. And then Corona came, so it wasn't in 2018. It was started, and so no one really took care of it. Then Corona came. That was good, because sometimes there were a lot of patients and the physicians understood that this is probably a good way to communicate. So it went all up. And now it came down back to about a quarter of that what we had in Corona time. What I think still is pretty good. We have that. But in Germany now we have a big regulation part where the Gematik, that's a company, that's an official company who takes care of the standards of telemedicine, all that, and they have a high standard. And the software developers, and they're always in trouble. So we have a big. And the physicians say, I don't understand this technique anymore, so I don't know what I have to do. And we have a connector, and you have something different, software and physical devices you have to implement. That makes it very hard. So physicians are complaining it's too complicated, and I think they are right. It is too complicated. It's not practical, and then they don't have a really good motivation to do it. And they say, no, it's complicated, so I go back to my patient, and sorry, I don't have time for any video calls anymore. Yes, it's still there. We have problems with that, and we need some more pushing and more practical, easy ways to get there to really keep it going.
And I guess the competition among startups can help that out. Are there lots of players already appear in the market?
Yes, we have some players there. The competition is not very high because they all have a small part right now, and you can always go somewhere and find some new people, physicians especially. But they are struggling and they're fighting hard. It's not very well paid. There's not a big market right out. It's not like spreading out. The scale is not going up. So I think it's not a problem of competition. It's a problem of long lasting. You need to have a long breath to stay, and then you have a good chance to be one of the bigger part. I think some will vanish before this happens, and not much more will come.
Mm-hmm. Do you think at some point telehealth can be a part of DiGA, like the consultation can be reimbursed by the insurance?
It will never be part of the DiGA because the law says no physicians in DiGA, so that's only patient focused. But we have a specific way to reimburse the physician in this part. It's not very well paid, like I said, and it's like all the officials don't think that it's very important, and they are always negotiating, and so they don't give them a big push, and it will always be hard to have a very good reimbursement on it. But if you focus on that, and if you make it practical and effective, you can definitely live with it, and you will probably have a good business case to develop this. We will see who's going to do it. If it's probably not just one physician, it's probably some kind of association or whatever comes up, company who will provide liable and long-lasting reimbursed services.
Wanted to ask you if you could possibly compare BfArM and FDA. Like, which approval is harder to get? What do you think?
I mean, I think the FDA was a bit earlier, so they have more experience right now, and they have good consultants knowing how to do it. I think it's a straight way to get there. So that's why I appreciate the FDA approval. I think it's good. BfArM is a bit more complicated because when we started, we thought everything is going to be easy. We had some ideas how this is going to work, but because it was the first time, and then it's not easy anymore. It's pretty hard right now to get an approval there, but if you know what BfArM wants, and if you talk to them, and you have to get the hook a bit higher than you thought, you're going to get there. So if we talk about in 2 years, that will be, or like 1 or 2 years, that will be a reliable process and will be as good as FDA. A bit harder, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. To summarize about the regulations, do you think the German government and organizations and institutes, they're moving at the same speed as the innovation is moving?
Oh no, this is hard. I don't want to discourage anyone, but the reason that the innovation has big problems right now is that we put it into this governmental process, and now there's no room for innovation anymore. Now we need to come up with regulation, and that's every time we put up the regulation part in it, the innovation has a hard way. Yes, you have a business model. That's a good thing. We have a business model in Germany that's unique, but we have a tough regulation part you have to go through. So you probably don't get an innovative startup with like 50,000 euros and say, yes, I'm going to do DiGA. You need someone who's got money, who's big, who can have the long-term idea of it. And these are more conservative approaches than innovative approaches. So for the moment, I think we are in a more conservative approach, and the innovation will stuck back for a while. But if we kind of reorganize that, we will have new chances for innovation.
Would you recommend startup founders to get a consultant who can lead you through the process of approving all the regulations and get into DiGA? Can a startup founder basically do it by himself?
For the first question, yes. For the second, no.
Okay.
It is so hard, and it's getting so hard. You have so many. I mean, we are struggling here with all our persons. Everyone's got his own specific subject where we're working on, like evaluation, law, regulation, DiGA things, and especially MDR is very complicated. It's also complicated, and that's really a really big problem, because you come in there and say, "Oh no, there's just many lists. I just have to go through them, and then I know what is going on, and I can find some examples in the internet." It takes ages, and at the end, it's necklace. So you will have problems if you don't get a professional idea of it, and that's what you definitely need. You need a professional guide through. If you have a bigger company later on with like 3-4 products, and you come up and say, "Oh, this is our 5th product now," and you know what we're talking, and we take all the experience we have. But you cannot have experience at the moment for a startup, and you need the experience even to talk to the BfArM and to know what is going on there. So yes, you need a consultant. Sorry for it, and it's good for us, but
of course.
What you should look at is an effective consulting. That's what we try to do, more deregulating and more not just having, we have 10 workshops before we start. But better to get 1 hour talking what is really important and then get doing another hour. So that's what probably the good way.
With the DiGA approval and then COVID, of course, the pandemic, do you see that boom among the investors in Germany that are ready to invest in digital health startups?
No, sorry for that as well. I just wrote something about it where I said, we have the post-corona depression somehow, and this depends on different things. We need much more money. It's more money you need for the regulation now. There is not that much money out there. People are more thinking of where do we invest. And it's not the corona part. It's not like a testing or a vaccine or whatever you invest in. You invest in some digital part where it was like apart from the corona idea. Some of them are in there, but most of them are out of the corona range. And therefore, it is not the best time for investments. There are investments out there. Perhaps even if the things come up now with the war and all that stuff, though, even there's some people who I need to save investment. Perhaps this could be the digital health part, but I think we're about like 80% where we should be and where we were before, and so we need some more power on that for the next years.
So the startup founders, either you talk to or you work with, are they trying to find the investments locally in Germany, or they're looking to other countries like states and?
It's very different. I think 1 of 10, 2 of 10 go and have a look at the big world. The others stay in Germany. And I cannot tell what's better, but it's always a good idea to have a big market and have a big investor. So I think it's a good idea to look around, but many of them, we have a very interesting culture here of investment, come here and do it in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Finally, what would you recommend startup founders in order to be successful in Germany?
Don't be too quick. Be long lasting. It's not a quick and dirty business anymore. It was actually, and it was good fun, and I loved that. Where we had a big shot on ideas. We don't have that anymore. It's so sophisticated and so conservative here in Germany. So you need a very deep idea. That's not just let's check how this works. So it should be a very clear and deep idea, and then you need much money and long time and many capacities. And if you have all that, you're going to be successful, because the barrier to get through there is very hard. But if you're through, you're just there, and then you can earn money. But the first barrier to take is not easy, and that's why you should be in a higher level idea of what you're doing.
Thank you, Sebastian. I think that was a great talk and very useful.
Thank you.